So, and today, we are, what did I say? We're gonna be building real client assets. I think we've done that in the other two sessions, but today we wanna do a deep dive before we reach assets with our client. What are some of the other things that we need to consider before you get there? Because you don't want to also, as much as AI, it just amplifies our capabilities. So your expertise is still very important when it comes to some of these things. But I mean, as we said, it's about execution. We don't want to be stuck in tutorials, and that's why we are doing these things. So we want to show how do you actually move from, okay, the client, you've closed the deal, then you're serving them professionally now in a real scenario. And we have a case study today. It's Hope Bridge Foundation. It's an NGO. So today we'll be seeing how can we position and profit organizations online, which I think, considering they are not profit driven, probably it's a little bit different. Not really different in a big way, but in sentimentally, I would say. So, but I think the first thing you have to ask yourself is, what are the goals? So we have Hope Bridge Foundation here. It's an NGO. What goals does it want to achieve with after being served, basically? And those are some of the questions then you need to ask. So when you're engaging with the company, you have to ask them, what are some of the objectives you want to achieve from your marketing initiatives? And of course, for something like an NGO, it's increase donor trust, improve online visibility, share impact stories. Actually, we have an NGO that has created a website with us. Maybe I should just show it even as we proceed. So let me see if I can access it. And we have actually, I think it's just good to show practically. But now we will be assuming we want to now, it's you out there who has this client. So we have Millennium Development Missions. I think I'll just share it on the chat, and then you can have a look at it as we proceed. So this is actually done using Ndovesha. He was one of our very early clients. So as you can see, the website, they have very well done using our AI. The guy just prompted and the website came to be. So let me go back to my PDF. But in the meantime, you can be checking it. So what does the Hope Bridge Foundation want to achieve? What does Millennium want to achieve? Increase donor trust, improve online visibility, share impact stories, attract volunteers, and generate donations. So you just don't want to work with this person without showing that you want to strategically position them, because that's most very important. You want to strategically position them. So you have to talk strategy. You have to understand how the messaging needs to be done. Then that informs the content. Then that informs the designs. Then that informs the campaigns. So it's a cascade of so at the first level, you're talking strategy. At the bottom of it, you're talking the real execution, which is running campaigns. So during discovery phase, what are some of the things you really will be very curious? You have to know what is the company all about? What's their mission? What's their audience? Who are they targeting? What problems are they facing? What are the pain points? And then what's the desired outcome? So these are very important when you're doing client discovery. When you're talking to them, they are waiting for you to ask these questions, and that's how they lean in. If you don't ask them, then they probably think you don't know what you're doing, right? So, for example, we don't say we are an NGO. We say we help vulnerable children access education, opportunity, and hope. I think from the Millennium website, you can see we are saying what? Empowering communities, transforming lives, a national and profit dedicated to sustainable community across Western Kenya, food security, health, gender equity, very, very specific. So when it comes to marketing assets, anything, whether you're talking of a website, you're talking of presentation, you're talking of an ad creative, let's say a social media post, we must talk brand identity. For example, you see pages that are very unprofessionally managed. The colors on the logo are not the same colors on their images, or, you know, like it just doesn't add up like that. You lose people along the way. So unserious buyers or partners who want to work with your business they pick those small details. So you need the logo, you need the colors, you need to understand what's the typography, visual direction, and their style basically. And this, it's not just for social media, it's even things like web design, and other designs like flyers and all that. There's even merchandise. So why does good design matter? It builds trust, it creates professionalism and credibility, and even consistency. Just when you're working with a large team, you want that consistency. So, and poor branding loses trust with people, and it just looks unprofessional. So you don't want to do that. What kind of social media content do you want to do? Impact stories, donation flyers. We have our specific study that we are. But this could apply for any other business out there. So you have donation flyers, volunteering, recruitment posts, awareness carousels. And then, for example, let's say impact stories. Those ones can also be on the website, so that, because all these parts need to be coordinated. They need to be omni-channel and multi-channel at the same time. What's the bigger picture around content strategy? Content should just do three things, maybe at most four. Content should educate, inspire, and mobilize. Maybe entertain at the same time, if you were to just add. And for something like an NGO, you want to talk of fundraising campaigns, community updates, beneficiary stories, and just things around that. And then you can do it in a fun way. You probably also you'll find yourself writing things like captions. You don't want to say support our NGO today. I mean, come on. One small contribution can help a child stay in school. That's good copywriting. Copywriting is a big deal. I think you should note somewhere and just go research more on copywriting. Actually, we normally say if you don't know copywriting, you really don't know how to market. You're not a marketer if you don't know copywriting. Copywriting is a big deal, and there's a lot of science around it, human psychology and all that. And copywriting is just not text. Even the words you put on for example, an image, the words you put on the website, that's copywriting still. An ad creative, what kind of ad creatives would you do for this kind of a brand? Fundraising, ad, donation, campaign, volunteer, a flyer. You're giving people and telling them to volunteer, and then maybe there's M-Pesa details. I think we actually, like, in our office, we get people who just knock and they're asking for donations, and then they give you a flyer. Like a good number of them have come severally. Then you wanna, have hooks. Create urgency, like this is a 7 days campaign, so don't be left behind. What's the call to action? Hierarchy when it comes to ad creative, that's important, right? What makes ads work? Your ad has to stop people, what we call cross-stopping. It has to raise curiosity, and then it has to create emotion. People actually buy from an emotional. We buy a lot of things which we don't use. Like me, I buy a lot of things which I don't use just because I saw the ad and I just got excited, probably. Or I was like, I don't want to miss out on this. you know. So pretty design alone is not enough. You have to understand the psychology of human behavior. That is what drives marketing. So as much as AI is here and everything, you have, and anyway, that's how we built Ndovesha. It's the frameworks behind the scenes are heavily, uh, the foundation is all these concepts, copywriting, human psychology, and all that. So we've done the heavy lifting, but still, I think these systems, if you know these things, it just becomes much easier for you. You don't go back and forth so much with AI. So a website, when you're even prompting like the AI, you want to tell it this hero section is the topmost part. This CTAs. CTA is call to action. You want to tell it for such a business, you want to impact stats, you want testimonials, volunteer form. So you have to understand the anatomy of a web page. It could be a landing page, it could be homepage of a website or any other page about us, whatever. But all web pages have an anatomy. Is the hero section, which could highlight the problem you're solving, and then the next section, it's how you solve it, and then case study, testimonial, impact stats, whatever, volunteer form at the bottom, and that's about it. So you want to inspire people to take action, build trust. So some of the mistakes you don't want to do with websites is confuse visitors, have weak CTAs. Weak CTAs is like, I'd say what? Click here. You know, like that's not very communicative, so to say. Lack of emotional storytelling, fielding, outdated designs. You don't want to do that. So when we talk of campaign, it's what I say. All these things have to work together. If it's the website, it's in tandem with what's being said on Facebook or WhatsApp, sending flyers on WhatsApp. There's even email campaign, and there's so much more marketing channels that you can unlock, but they all need to be syndicated. So to say, like, you're saying the same thing. It's not one. When I go to Facebook and when I go to your website, it's two things different. No. It needs to be clear messaging that is consistent across every channel. Maybe when you're coming up with a content calendar, what do you want to factor in? For this kind of a brand, you want to talk about things like impact story. Let's say on Monday, Tuesday, you have an education post. Wednesday, you have a volunteer spotlight. Maybe Thursday, you talk about a donation campaign that's going on. Friday, you can do behind the scenes, just people, people these days that's has become very popular, like behind the scenes. So how then does AI change help us serve these businesses? Faster delivery, lower cost, more output, and then scalable creativity. As we say, you're not removing your creativity from these, you're just scaling it in the sense that you can do work which as one person, which could have been done by 10 people, you probably can serve a lot of clients, and that's just the power of AI. But you still need to understand the core concepts just so that you're able to run something worthwhile. So old model definitely relied on slow timelines, expensive production. We moved from, there's a time digital platforms were not there. You could only run your ads on TV. I think you had to have something like a budget of over $1 million to run an ad on TV. And that's let's say it's not even like prime time. Because you had to hire an agency that goes and shoots somewhere. It's a whole production. These days, it's just you prompt away. It's just things have changed a lot. So these days, it's about fast delivery, lean operations, and scalable creativity. And the platforms are just there. It's buttons, click, you have your campaigns running. So basically, your assignment is just pick a niche, build demo assets, post publicly, DM organizations, and offer your services. It's just that simple. Like, to really build revenue for either freelancer, maybe passive, or if you're just serious on building a real business. And like the opportunity is big because business owners are busy, and marketing teams are overwhelmed, or they just I mean that people still want to be guided on some of these things. So it just I think the opportunity is big, so it just you're taking it and running away with it. So yeah,